What's going on, everybody? This is Brian from SneakerFiles.com, recapping the news. And before I jump into things, like always, greatly appreciate a thumbs up. And if you're new here, subscribe by hitting the button below. Now, we have a lot of sneakers to go over in this video. I'm a little bit behind, but I'm going to cover it all here. Now, I'm not sure how long this video is going to be. It's possible it could be a bit longer than usual. Either way, I hope you enjoy. But as for some of the highlights, we have a first look at the Nigel Sylvester Air Jordan 1 Low OG Nitro, as well as the Air Jordan 5 35th anniversary. Also, we have a lot more from Jordan Brand and a lot from Nike. And now, let's jump into the news. Heads up for those who want the WORKSOUT Nike Air Max 95, known as Uniform, also known as Sequoia, but we have a release date for the sneakers app. So the official colorway is Sequoia, black, and medium olive. They have already released at WORKSOUT on May 31st. But if you want to grab this pair, they're going to drop on June 5th, and the retail price will be $190. We received a first look at the Lego Nike Air Max DN in Tour Yellow. Now, what's unfortunate about this upcoming Lego collaboration is that it appears that everything is going to be available in kid sizing. Now, this is one of the colorways. What I'm more interested is in the Lego set. Personally, I don't know if you guys have seen it, but it's the Nike Dunk. It has a little bit extra to it as well, I believe, a basketball. I thought it was pretty cool. I do like putting together Legos, although I do have the Nintendo still in the box. I need to put that together. I did get the Adidas Shell Toe when those dropped. I put it together. And I want the DeLorean from Back to the Future. I think that car is really dope. So I'll probably grab the Nike Dunk, but as for the collection itself, the footwear part, I will be passing. But this pair features a Tour Yellow, Black, Volt, and Rush Red colorway. Now, as you can see, the upper, which is done in all yellow, has a brick texture across it, just like the Lego bricks. As well, it has Lego branding on the tongues and insoles. And then on the heel, which I thought was kind of cool, is the swoosh, but it has a Lego brick on it. Or I should say just above it. Now, we don't have a specific release date, but this pair will drop in August, and the retail price will be $155. We have another pair part of the Orange Label series, but if you're interested in buying, it's going to be some time before they drop, and this is the Nike SB Dunk Low Pro ISO Burgundy Crush. Now, the official colorway on this shoe is Burgundy Crush, Black, Mystic Dates, Cell, Gum Light Brown, and Safety Orange. Now, although it has a ton of colors, it really just looks like it features mainly Burgundy Crush, Black, Orange, Cell, and then a gum outsole. But the shoes do feature burgundy suede on the upper, and then we have black on the swoosh logos across the panels. And then since it's part of the Orange Label series, orange fills in the swoosh on the tongue labels and the Nike SB branding on the insoles. And then finishing the look is a Cell midsole and a gum rubber outsole. So since this pair is part of the Orange Label series, they won't be released on Nike.com or the sneakers app, but they'll actually drop at skate shops. But expected to drop spring 2026, and the retail price is $110, although it could be bumped up to $115 or even $120. Okay, we have a couple small updates on the Nike Kobe 4 Protro CHBL. So CHBL stands for the Chinese High School Basketball League. And when I went over these shoes previously, I talked about the insoles, and I noticed that the insoles featured a quote saying, "Touch the line." So Nike did post on their Instagram account the inspiration as well as some additional information. And the pair is inspired by Kobe Bryant's touch the line moment at the 2016 Kobe Academy in Shanghai. Now, if you're a fan of this pair, unfortunately, they're going to be released exclusively in China. Nike did confirm this as well, so you won't be able to get them outside of China, unfortunately. And other than that, we don't have a specific release date, but since it's part of Nike's Summer 2025 collection, we should be expecting them to drop soon, and the retail price is expected to be $190. Now, this information I did share in the June 2025 Air Jordan and Nike release dates video, but I felt like I needed to share it in a news video because it's an important shoe. A lot of people like it, including myself. Definitely can't wait to pick them up. But we do have a release date for the Nike Air Tech Challenge 2 Tart, also known as Stone Blue. Now, this pair actually released in stores early at JD Sports. Not every JD Sports had them, but a good amount appeared to have them. But if you don't live by a JD Sports, then you'll be able to pick them up on June 27th. Also, for those who don't know, this is an OG colorway, first dropped in 1990, and in my opinion, definitely a clean pair. Also, if I forgot to mention, the retail price will be $150. I know I'm behind on a lot of this news, so we're going to pretty much cover everything in this one video, but about a week, maybe a little bit longer than that, we received a first look at the Levi's Nike Air Max 95 pack. So most of you know, in 2026, Levi's is dropping a pack of the Air Jordan 3, but in 2025, they're going to release 3 colorways of the Air Max 95. So these colorways include black, anthracite, and gym red. The second is light Orwood brown, gym red, and white. And then the third is obsidian and gym red. Now, as you can see, all 3 pairs feature denim throughout, as well as frayed detailing. From what I can see from this image, we have red on the insoles, and they also come with extra laces. Now, we only had the one image. There was some images of the shoes on feet, but it really doesn't give us like a closer look. But what is your thoughts on the pack? In my opinion, I'm a little let down. I thought they'd be much better. But again, I'm going to wait until more photos come out so I can give my final judgment. Now, as for a release date for the 3, they're expected to drop summer 2025. So that would mean that they would have to be released this month. Now, it's possible it could be moved to fall, which would mean a release could take place between July and September, which may happen. Also, the retail price is $225 each. About a week ago, I went into my spot where I pick up shoes to do reviews for, and they had the Nike Air Flightposite 1 sell. I do plan on doing a short on them, which will probably be next week. But we do have official images of the shoes giving us a better look, as well as a release date. Now, this pair pretty much looks spot on to the mock-up that Z and I put out months back. Although we didn't see the shoes, it was just a guess, and we were pretty close. Now, having them in hand, and I have to be honest, the chrome on the midfoot plate looks really cheap in my opinion. It also feels really thin, which I thought was unfortunate because it's not a bad colorway. It reminds me a lot of the Team Bank series from the initial release of the shoes, which took place in 1999. I believe the Team Bank might have dropped in 2000 though. Anyways, the official colorway is Cell, Black, and Metallic Silver. They're going to drop on June 12th. They'll be available on the SNKRS app as well as other retailers, and the retail price will be $240. Also, this is labeled a quick strike, so they're not going to be a GR, somewhat on the limited side. As most of you know, Off-White is expected to drop the Air Jordan 1 High OG Euro, aka Alaska, during the holiday 2025 season, but it appears that we also have a Nike Air Force 1 Low in collaboration with Off-White returning. Now, this pair is known as Sesame, and it could look familiar to some of you because initially they were supposed to drop in 2022 as a Qatar exclusive. Now, I need to be 100% honest with you guys. I have yet to confirm this release, but it appears that it's going to happen. We do have a style code. We have the retail price in a very vague colorway, which might not be the official colorway, but it's simply Sesame and Silver. Nike is not known to use just silver. Usually it's like metallic silver or something different. As well, this could also be a sample and the retail release could differ. So in my opinion, this release isn't confirmed, although it does seem likely it will happen. Just want to give you guys that heads up. But the overall look and build is just like any Off-White Nike Air Force 1. We have the exposed stitching on the swoosh, which is done in silver, a small orange label connecting to the swoosh, Air in quotes on the midsole. It'll also come with a zip tie and additional branding on the medial side. But as you can see, Sesame covers most of the upper, and then we have a tan hue on the midsole and the rubber outsole. When this information came out, I saw a lot of people saying that this release is too late, Off-White missed its time, stuff like that. Now, I don't know if that's true or not. And to me, maybe it's because I'm not a huge fan of the colorway. It just doesn't hit the same as it once did. Now, I'll be honest, I never was a fan of the Off-White Air Jordan 1, even when they initially dropped. I could appreciate the shoes. I like the colorways because they resembled OGs like the UNC and the Chicago, but this colorway, it's not really my thing. Now, from his series, I really liked the Converse. I liked what he did with that shoe. The Air Max 90 was decent as well, and I wouldn't mind seeing them work on different Air Max models. I think that would be dope. But as of now, The rumored release timeframe is fall 2025, which means a release will take place between July and September if it does happen, and the retail price is $150. Supreme is pretty good at keeping things under wraps, and just popping up the other day is an upcoming collaboration between Supreme, Goodenough, and Nike on the Air Force 1 Low. And by the time this video goes live, the shoes will drop tomorrow. So Goodenough is a brand that was founded in 1990 by Hiroshi Fujiwara. And if that name sounds familiar, it's because he owns the brand Fragment Design. Now, Supreme and Goodenough, they last connected in 2007, which was on an apparel collection, but now they're back to release the Nike Air Force 1 and some apparel. Now, I believe Goodenough is no longer around, like they're not producing stuff, but they have popped up to do this collaboration. I could be wrong on that, but let me know down below. Now, what I will say is that this Air Force 1 is a lot nicer than previous Air Force 1s that Supreme has dropped. They've been very plain. At least this pair, it has something to it. But to go over the shoes, they feature white leather on the upper, and then they have pony hair on the swoosh with leopard print. Now, Supreme's box label logo and Goodenough's G branding will land by the heels, alternating from each shoe. Supreme and Goodenough branding also lands on the laces and the insoles. The insoles also have Nike Air, but something I like about this shoe is the outsole. So it's translucent. We have Supreme in red, and Goodenough overlaps it. Now, as for the release date, this pair will drop on June 5th. However, they're going to be released on June 7th in Asia. Currently, we don't have the retail price. I wasn't able to find it just yet, but it's probably going to cost around $150 or something like that. We have a couple first looks from Kobe Bryant on the Nike Air Force 1 Low. A lot of people are calling the shoe white. However, I did see it months and months back. I believe I talked about it in a news video, but I didn't do a mock-up or anything like that. But this pair is known as Kobe Forever. I did see the presentation for it. They're going to release some matching apparel as well. And this is one of two colorways part of this collection. So as you can see, it features pretty much an all-white makeover. But what makes this pair stand out is the unique detailing. So it does feature snakeskin texture across the upper, and then we have Kobe's shield logo debossed on the lateral side. The heels will also feature his numbers 8 and 24, which are embroidered, and then the pair features a white midsole and a matching rubber outsole. This isn't our best look yet at the shoes, but it gives us an idea of what's to come. We should be getting better photos soon, and as for a release date for this pair, they're going to drop in fall 2025, which means a release will take place between July and September, and the retail price is expected to be $130. Okay, the second Kobe Bryant Nike Air Force 1 Low to be released, people are calling it Court Purple, which makes sense. It does feature Court Purple, but this is also part of the Kobe Forever collection, and it features the same build, but instead of white, it's in purple. So as you can see, purple is used throughout. It does have a snakeskin texture on the upper. Now, it's going to be hard to tell, but the Kobe Shield logo will be on the lateral side by the heel. His number 8 and 24 will also be embroidered on the heels. Oh, and I forgot to mention, the white pair will have this as well, but the lace dubre will have Forever across it. You can see a clear shot in these images. Again, the photos aren't that great, but it does serve as a first look. It gives us an idea of what's coming. And as for the release time frame, the pair is going to drop fall 2025, and the retail price is $130. For me, I like the purple pair a lot more than the white, but that's just my opinion. Let me know yours down below. Last week, I leaked this information on Twitter, and I thought it was big news. I was a bit shocked when I heard it, but it seems that not a lot of people cared. Now, everybody's entitled to their own opinion, but I more so thought it was big news because of the crossover. But Nike SB will be releasing a new unique model. Well, not new to people into sneakers, but new meaning this is the first time that Nike SB is working on this model. And this is the Nike Air Max 2 CB94 Low. So this is part of Charles Barkley's signature line. Now, to my knowledge, it was never released initially as a low, but later on, Nike would drop the pair as a low. So this isn't the first time that the Air Max 2 CB94 is releasing in low top form, but the first time in collaboration with Nike SB. Now, what is shown is a mock-up. I'm not sure how they're going to look. However, the colorway will be white, varsity red, white, and gum light brown. kind of similar to the Nike SB Air Jordan 4 Varsity Red pair. I assume that the color blocking is going to be something similar to that, but again, it hasn't been confirmed, and unfortunately, I wasn't able to get the details on technology, but from the color description, it does appear that they're going to have a gum rubber outsole, which is good for grip. There's a possibility that it could have additional padding in the tongue and just overall a beefed up build. So in my opinion, I think this is a really interesting, I guess you can call it crossover. Now, as for the release details, the pair is expected to drop spring 2026. However, I did hear it's very possible it could get moved to summer. And currently, I don't have a retail price. Let me know your thoughts on this pair down below. If they drop like this, would you buy? Also, are you excited at all that Nike SB is dropping more collabs on different basketball sneakers? Unfortunately for Knicks fans, the team was knocked out by the Pacers, but you guys had a good run. You guys did a lot better than my team, the Kings, who didn't make the playoffs. So at least there's something positive from that. I know Knicks fans are super diehard. I've seen the videos online. And if it's any redemption, in my opinion, OKC is going to beat the Pacers. No offense to Pacers fans, just my opinion. I've been watching OKC, and they've been playing very, very well, in my opinion. But moving on from basketball, well, still staying on basketball, but moving away from the finals, Jalen Brunson has his own Nike Kobe 6 Protro PE dropping during the holiday 2025 season. So this pair is known as Statue of Liberty, and he wore these during the Eastern Conference Finals. Now, Brunson has been wearing various Kobe's throughout the playoffs. I even think before that during the regular season. And this pair will come dressed in a hyper turquoise and metallic copper colorway. So of course it represents the Statue of Liberty in New York. It comes dipped in turquoise across the upper, and then we have metallic copper on the heel counter, and it looks like the Kobe Shield logo on the tongue. Maybe even the swoosh in this image, but it kind of looks black, the swoosh. And that gives it kind of a patina feel. Turquoise also lands on the tongue, laces in the midsole, and then they'll have a marbleized rubber outsole to complete the look, as well as Kobe's signature on the heels. Now, we only have the one image, but I think this pair is going to be like Caitlin Clark's upcoming PE that's releasing. They won't have any branding connecting to Jalen Brunson. I could be wrong on that. We only have the one image. Although there are a few on-feet photos that I will share. And from these angles, I don't see any branding. So it looks like the shoe will just represent him. It'll be known as Jalen Brunson's shoe. Now, as for the release details, like I mentioned, this pair will drop during the holiday 2025 season, which means the release will take place between October and December. And the retail price will be $190, although it could be $195 or $200 by then. I guess it's one of those nights when I'm 100% done recording, and then when I'm editing the video at 3 a.m. in the morning, I get some exclusive news. It's not a bad thing because I enjoy leaking this info. But we have one thing from Nike and one thing from Jordan Brand that I literally just learned about, so this is breaking news. Obviously, the Jordan Brand info will be later on in the video, but we have a new Nike Kobe 1 Protro dropping in spring 2026, and this pair is known as Work Blue, and that is due to the colorway, which is Work Blue, Summit White, and Metallic Gold. Now, shown is a mock-up. I'm not sure how these are going to look. I thought maybe this was the MLPS pair returning, but that shoe doesn't have metallic gold. This also appears to be a new colorway. There was a brief description, and that description is City of Champions. So maybe it's a new MLPS colorway. I'm not entirely sure, but obviously it is tied to LA in some way, shape, or form. And as for a specific release date, unfortunately I don't have one, but spring 2026 is when they're expected to drop, and currently no retail price. The Rare Air series has been pretty solid in my opinion. We have the Air Jordan 1, which dropped in 2 colorways. The Air Jordan 3 recently released. We have the Air Jordan 4 coming soon, and then during the holiday 2025 season, we have the Air Jordan 11. However, what is also part of the collection is the Jordan Trunner LX, also known as T-Runner. So recently images leaked of the shoe, which are the official photos. Now, as you can see, the pair features a mismatched theme. It alternates between green and red, on the straps. As well, it has black and obsidian detailing, as well as cell. Now, other than it having a mismatched theme, I don't see anything that really connects to the Rare Air series aside from the branding, which is a big deal, which lands on the insoles, but typically there's something different or off. I guess the mismatched theme would be the Rare Air part of it. As well, it comes with a grind rubber outsole, and I don't think that's considered Rare Air, but the pair is expected to drop summer 2025, which means they should be coming this month. If not, they're delayed until fall, and the retail price will be $130. This is a pair that I thought was a bit different, so I decided to showcase it. It's the Air Jordan 1 Low V3 Metallic Silver. So this is part of the Method of Make series, and this is the third iteration. So this is a women's exclusive release, and as you can see, it features a unique theme. It kind of has a futuristic look to it, and the official colorway is neutral gray, white, metallic silver, and pewter gray. Now, as you can see, the overlays are highlighted in metallic silver, and we have a chrome swoosh. In addition, we have a diamond pattern mesh on the panels, and then there are slits cut out around the toe box. We also have additional overlays around the heel with the Wings logo. Other details includes a white midsole and a smoky translucent rubber outsole. So for this pair, we don't have a specific release date, but they are expected to debut fall 2025, and the retail price will be $135. There's a couple shoes that it seems that with every new set of images, the coloring is different. This is one of them, and it's the Air Jordan 4 Denim Worn Blue. So recently, product shots did leak of the shoes, and this is from Size. So Size typically does a pretty good job on taking product shots. The lighting appears to be on point, so my best bet would be that we would get something similar to this. Now, the only letdown about this shoe is that it's a women's exclusive release. Nothing against the women out there. This is just a pair that I think should be released in men's and women's sizing. Now, the official colorway is Cell, Gumlight Brown, Worn Blue, Cell, and Metallic Gold. As you can see, it features denim detailing throughout. We have a darker shade of blue on the lower part of the shoe, and then a lighter shade up top, almost like a light gray. And then it comes with a lace doubre, which reads Family in Gold. Now, as for the release date on this pair, they're going to drop on August 9th, and the retail price will be $215, although it's possible the retail price could bump up. We now have official images of the Air Jordan 1 Low OG Washed Teal. Now, in my opinion, I actually like this shoe. I think it looks good, although they will be released exclusively in women's sizing, and it doesn't appear that they'll be available in extended women's sizing. But the official colorway is Cell, Washed Teal, and Pale Ivory. Now, it kind of has a tie-dye-like look on the upper, which I like. It also comes with Harry Suede on the swoosh logos, which is done in green. And then the Nike Air branding on the tongue and Wings logo on the heel is done in Pale Ivory. And then we have a green tint on the midsole. Finishing the look is a green translucent rubber outsole. So the release date is set for June 18th. I thought it might have been possible they could have got delayed because I haven't seen official images popped up, although it was a bit early when I did my release dates video. But now I'm starting to think June 18th is pretty much locked in, but it hasn't popped up on the sneakers app just yet, at the time of recording that is, and the retail price will be $140, although it could be $145. We received a first look at the Air Jordan 3 Starfish, once being called Orange Trance, and yeah, these are unique. They're different for sure, and some people might like them, some people may dislike them, but this is part of the Shattered Backboard collection, at least how it was presented from Jordan Brand. And the official colorway is Fossil, Starfish, and Cell. Although initially it was supposed to have Orange Trance, but apparently the color description has been updated. Now, I figured that it would have some sort of unique materials because it was labeled Tex. It was initially known as the Air Jordan 3 Women's Tex. And as you can see, it features a canvas textile upper covered in Fossil. Other than that, we have Harry Suede on the ankle, as well as the tongue, and instead of elephant print, that's also done in suede, but covered in orange. Orange also hits the Jumpman on the tongue and heels, as well as the liner. And then we have a white midsole and a smoky translucent rubber outsole. Now, just from the looks of it, there isn't anything that really says Shattered Backboard, no graphics or anything like that. Yes, the colorway does resemble Shattered Backboard themes, although the Fossil shade kind of throws things off. Personally, I'm not a fan, but let me know your guys' thoughts down below. Now, if I forgot to mention, this is a women's exclusive release, and they're scheduled to drop on July 11th, and the retail price will be $200. So this bit of information I did leak a couple days ago, and this is the Air Jordan 3 RM. So Jordan Brand is going to continue the RM series and move on to the Air Jordan 3. Now the Air Jordan 4 RM, in my opinion, looks a lot better than this. And it did kind of help the model with collaborations with Nigel Sylvester. Now, this is a mock-up. However, this is an accurate one of what I was shown. Now there's going to be different colorways, but I wasn't given any specific colorways, at least not yet. But I did see the shoe, which came in all white like this, and it featured black on the Jumpman, which is located on the heel, and then Jordan across the tongue. It'll be like a silverish, almost black hue. Now around the heel, it'll have the overlay, which is supposed to have elephant print, but instead it'll have perforations. Also, the overlay around the toe, that will just be clean leather, at least for this particular pair. I mean, it could get more versatile. Some pairs could have elephant print, but from what I saw, smooth leather up top, it'll be leather with perforations around the heel. There'll also be some additional overlays. The overall upper does somewhat resemble the Jordan 3 as far as the shape goes, but it has some extra overlays as well, kind of like the Air Jordan 4. Essentially, this is a low top version of the Air Jordan 3, which we've seen samples of in the past. And then the midsole and the outsole will stay true to the Air Jordan 3. I'm definitely not a fan of this pair whatsoever. Maybe some of you might like it, and that's cool if you do. Now, what I will say is I was told about one collaboration, but I want to wait to announce it until it gets finalized, because I was told by someone else at Jordan Brand that it wasn't going to happen. But my sources have been really good, so I'm curious to see if it turns out to be true. Now, I am hearing about another Air Jordan RM dropping, but this pair I haven't seen. But the expected time frame for it will be holiday 2026 or early 2027. Now, I don't want to say which model it is because it does need to be finalized as well, but I will say that it's above the Air Jordan 10 and below the Air Jordan 14. But for the Air Jordan 3 RM, I don't have additional details as far as the retail price or any colorways, but they are expected to debut spring 2026, which means a release will take place between January and March. Official images popped up of the Air Jordan 14 Ferrari, and they are shown on the Sneakers app now. I know some people were asking when they're going to pop up on the Sneakers app. It's live now. Now, unfortunately, we have a release date change, and I think that's the more important part of this segment. But initially, they were supposed to drop on June 11th, but the new release date is June 14th. So not a huge delay, but it is a couple days. And I said this in the release dates video, but I'll repeat it here. What I'm hearing from a lot of people is that they're not a fan of the 2025 release in comparison to the 2014. They're saying there's quite a few differences. For example, the suede isn't as nice as the original release. The red isn't as rich. Either way, I'm picking them up. I'm happy with them. I've never owned the original pair, so I'm happy to get this one. Now, eventually I will pick up the OG. Unfortunately, I won't have it in time to do a comparison because I do plan on dropping this review at the end of the week. But yeah, this is a definite pickup for me. Also, whenever Jordan Brand releases the Air Jordan 14, typically they produce less pairs because it isn't as popular as some of the other Air Jordan models. So these will be, I don't want to say on the limited side, but there won't be as many pairs as, let's say, the Air Jordan 3 or even the Air Jordan 4. Models like that. Also, the retail price has gone up. Instead of $210, they're going to cost $215. We now have on-feet photos of the Air Jordan 11 Grand Finale, also known as Cell. Now, this will be a women's exclusive release, and unfortunately, I haven't heard anything about them being available in extended women's sizing. Now, it does seem that some people are excited about the release, probably not as many as the Gamma Air Jordan 11, but a good amount. Now, the whole Grand Finale nickname, I'm not entirely sure what that means. I'm not sure how that ties into this color blocking, but when I was shown a list of upcoming releases, this pair was labeled Grand Finale. Now, I will say if you like something clean and simple, this is a nice pair. It does feature leather suede on the upper, and then the patent leather mudguard will be done in gray. Gray also lands on the heel. Metallic silver will fill in the metal Jumpman on the ankle. And then they have a white midsole and a semi-translucent rubber outsole. Now, I haven't heard if this pair will be available in extended women's sizing. However, I don't believe it will be, just because past Air Jordan 11 releases for women haven't been. But I should have more information as we get closer to the release date, which the release date is November 11th, and the retail price is expected to be $230. The second shoe that always looks different in pictures is the Air Jordan 4 Cavestone. Either the brown used is really light, it's really dark. In the initial set, it looked gray. Either way, it is a shade of brown, and we do have product shots. And these product shots come from JD Sports UK. Again, with these product shots, I feel that the lighting is probably closest and what we can expect to get at retailers, which is darker than some of the previous images. But overall, I'm still a fan. I like the shade of brown. I like the darker look compared to the light brown that we've seen. I know sometimes it's difficult to get the lighting right in images or even video. For my reviews, honestly, I use my iPhone, which is an iPhone 14, and it works great. I do have a camera that I spent like $2,000 on maybe 3 or 4 years ago, which is a Sony. I forgot the model. It's a really good one, but I still feel like the iPhone gives it the true colors and things like that. Anyways, that's off topic. This is a pair that I'm actually kind of excited for, especially with these images. Now, the unique part about this pair, which I'm sure a lot of you already know, is that it will feature Nike Air on the heel instead of the Jumpman. Nike Air will also be placed on the insoles and the outsole. I do like the fact that Jordan Brand is adding Nike Air to new colorways. I think it gives it a great look. But for this pair, they're going to drop on September 6th, and the retail price will be $225. We have some new images of the Travis Scott Fragment Air Jordan 1 Low OG in military blue. Now, recently, this pair has had a release date change, but with these images, what I found interesting is that it comes with laces knotted on the laces. Now, I'm not sure if this is a sample that has it or if this will be the retail release, but either way, I thought it was pretty interesting. We don't have too many new photos, and it seems that with everybody who leaks images of this pair, they only put out like 3 to 4 images. I'm not sure why. Some people who leak shoes, they'll put out a ton of photos, but then some people, they'll do like 3 or 4 in this case. Now, I will say that I am a fan of the color blocking on this pair. I've always been a fan of military blue, but more so on the Air Jordan 4. I like this shade of blue. So this is a pair that, you know, I'm going to try to go after at retail, but if I miss out, I miss out. I'm definitely not going to spin resale for it. But really just wanted to showcase the new photos. And as for the new release date, they're scheduled to drop on September 20th, and the retail price is expected to be $150, although it's possible it could go up $5 or $10. New images popped up of the Air Jordan 1 High OG Shattered Backboard, but more importantly, these images showcase the box. So the box will be unique. As most of you know, when this pair initially dropped in 2015, it came in your standard OG Air Jordan 1 box. However, this time, the Nike Air appears to be in orange, but it has a shattered glass-like look to it, and I like it. I think it looks dope. I know most people don't care about boxes, but I do. I actually think it's kind of part of the experience with the shoes. Also, what I will say with these images, the Wings logo looks normal. Now, the product shots that we recently saw, the Wings logo was really small, and I don't know why. I was a little bit nervous about that because I wasn't going to pick them up if it was that small, but this is a retail pair here. The product shots could have been of a sample. Now, on a side note, my good friend Z Sneakerhead Z, he recently picked this pair up. He has them in hand. He also has the OG pair, and what he's telling me is what I've said several times in the past. The quality is not as good as the original pair. Again, you should probably determine that for yourself when you get them in hand. Some of you might not even care though. You just like the color blocking and you're happy that they're returning and you're going to have a chance to pick them up. But as for the release date, they also recently have been delayed, but the new date is August 23rd, and currently the retail price is $180, although again, that could bump up. A lot of these prices are bumping up now. It's very unfortunate. But yeah, I do plan on picking these up as well. I'm going to do a comparison. I do own the 2015 pair, and I know exactly where those are. They're in my office right now, but I probably won't get them in hand until July. It seems that there's going to be some sort of quality control issue with the Air Jordan 12 French Blue, and what What I mean by that is every set of images that I've seen has been slightly different, and not the coloring or anything like that. This time I'm talking about the lacing. So in 2024, Jordan Brand, they were factory lacing the shoes super tight on the bottom eyelet. So what it did was it kind of pinched it right there, and it would leave creases. Now I'm sure with time the creases may come out, and overall the shape of the Jordan 12 in 2024 looked like a banana, like the curvature and everything of the toe. I didn't like it. Now with these images, there's no indents. As well, it doesn't look like a banana. It's not super curved around the toe. These look pretty good in my opinion. It seems that a lot of people are excited about the return of these. As most of you know, they initially dropped in 2004, and then we saw a retro take place in 2016. For me, I own the 2016. I don't own the 04. I probably won't pick up the 2025 pair just because the 16 pair, in my opinion, it looks good. The shape is nice. The only difference that I notice is the packaging. Instead of a Jumpman, like the 16 pair, the 25 pair will have Nike Air. But if you don't own this pair, or if you really like them, then of course pick them up. For me, there's just too many releases in 2025, so I need to kind of plan it out. But as for the release date on this pair, they're going to drop on August 16th, and the retail price will be $200. Also, they will be available in full family sizing. We have new images of the Air Jordan 5 Tokyo, and in my opinion, I like these photos. I think it looks really good. Now, there's something I should have mentioned when I talked about this shoe previously. Yes, this pair did drop in 2011. However, for 2025, it's the sample pair that will be releasing. So it's slightly different than the 2011 release. So the differences on this pair, or the sample version, would be that there's yellow on the toe of the outsole. I personally think it looks better this way, but that's just my opinion. Now, there was a whole ordeal recently where my good friend Z leaked this information, and Complex came out and said they're not releasing. I was for sure that they were dropping, as well as Z. And then a day later, they said somebody at Jordan Brand did tell them they are dropping. They also provided additional details, like there's only going to be 20,000 pairs released. I can't confirm that. I'm not saying it's wrong information. It's just that I can't confirm it. And stuff to do with numbers, typically all I see is inaccurate numbers, not by Complex, but in general. But I would expect them to be somewhat on the limited side, not as limited as the initial release. Kind of like how the Undefeated Air Jordan 4 was only available at Undefeated, but now they're going to drop at additional retailers. It'll be the same situation with the Tokyo Air Jordan 5. Now, as for the release date, they are currently scheduled to drop on September 27th, and the retail price will be $210. So let me know your thoughts about the Tokyo Air Jordan 5 returning, well, the sample pair actually being released. We also received a first look at the Air Jordan 5 35th anniversary, also known as medium soft pink. And as you guys might remember, several months back, I put a mock-up out showing how the shoes will look, and they're spot on. As well, I did mention in a previous video months back that the pair will feature 3M reflective on the upper, and we do have an image showcasing the 3M. Now, a lot of people thought that this pair is a women's exclusive release, but in fact, they're dropping in men's sizing. Now, the actual colorway is white, medium soft pink, and black. As you can see, it does feature the 23 font on the lateral side that has also been updated to reflect the OG font. It does feature Nike Air on the heel. Nike Air also lands on the insoles. And then what I like about the shoes is we have that soft pink, which lands on the Jumpman on the tongue, inside of the tongue liner, the 23, which is outlined in black, Nike Air on the heel, the lace lock, and the flames on the midsole. Now, most of the midsole of this pair is done in black, and the unique part about this shoe is the 3M reflective on the upper. Now, the Air Jordan 5 is known for its reflective tongue, amongst other things. So since this is labeled the 35th anniversary, I mean, overall, the Jordan 5 is celebrating its 35th, but for some reason, this shoe in particular is being called the 35th anniversary. That's probably why it has a 3M reflective upper. Now, finishing the look on this pair is a mostly translucent rubber outsole, and then we have a pink Jumpman. I actually like these. I think these look good. Personally, I'm more excited about the Fire Red Air Jordan 5, I'm sure all of us are. but these are dope. Now, as for the release date, they're scheduled to drop on October 11th, and the retail price will be $210. We have more first looks, and this time it's Nigel Sylvester's upcoming collaboration on the Air Jordan 1 Low OG known as Nitro. Now again, I did put a mock-up of these out a couple months back, and as you can see, the mock-up is on point to what is releasing. I was fortunate enough to be provided with information about the color blocking and so forth, but I'm excited about this release. I've been a fan of Nigel Sylvester's collaborations. Unfortunately, I own 0. The Jordan 4 RM, I missed out and I wasn't going to pay resell. His brick by brick Air Jordan 4, I really wanted those. I entered a ton of raffles, missed out, and then the resale was kind of high. And I thought, okay, these are going to drop. And then all of a sudden, it shot up and now they're like 600 plus, and I'm not going to spend that for my size. Anyways, this pair is inspired by his Air Jordan 1 High OG sample from 2022. He showed the pair off back then, and a lot of people anticipated that we would see the release, but it never happened. 3 years later, we're going to get the pair, but in low top form. Now, the official colorway is black, muslin, and varsity red. As you can see, it has the signature mini swoosh by the toe. On the liner, it has Jordan Biking Co. established 2017. The midsole, the swoosh, the laces, the tongue all have an aged look to it. We have Bike Air in red on the tongue and insoles, and the Wings logo will be placed on the heel. Also throughout, it looks like we have scuff marks, which is similar to his initial Air Jordan 1 High OG collaboration from 2018. Lastly, we have red on the outsole, which kind of has like an oxidized, aged finish. It seems that anything Nigel collabs on sells out. And this pair being a collab will be on the limited side. They're not going to be available everywhere. They're expected to drop on the SNKRS app as well as boutiques. Now, as for the release date, this pair drops on August 2nd, and the retail price will be $150. Let me know your thoughts on this pair down below. For me, I'm definitely going to try. Hopefully this will be my first Nigel collab that I own, especially since I love BMX. Now, as for the second sneaker, I received information late at night and had to come back and record. PSG will be releasing the Air Jordan 6. Now, as most of you know, 2026 celebrates the 35th anniversary of the Air Jordan 6. So we're going to see a lot of older colorways, well, a good amount. Some are rumored, but we should be getting at least one more OG colorway, more than likely more, at least from what I'm hearing. Now, what's shown is a mock-up. I'm not sure how they're going to look, but the colorway is metallic silver, pure platinum, and oil gray. So we're going to have a lot of gray shades going on. Pure platinum is like a shade of gray as well. And this won't be the first time that PSG has collaborated with Jordan Brand on the Air Jordan 6. In 2019, they dropped a pair in iron gray, infrared 2.3, and black. And then in 2023, they dropped the Air Jordan 6 Low in light bone, magma orange, iron gray, and white. Their mid/high Air Jordan 6 actually looks decent. The low, I'm not a huge fan of the Air Jordan 6 Low. The black and chrome is definitely dope. But yeah, I'm glad that they're dropping them in mid/high top form. Now, as for additional information, this pair is expected to be released in spring 2026. And at the time of recording, I don't have a retail price. And that's going to do it for this video. Like always, greatly appreciate you guys for watching. If you have a second and haven't done so already, also appreciate a thumbs up. And if you're new here, subscribe by hitting the button below. One more thing, if you haven't done so yet, make sure to turn on the notification bell so you can be alerted every time I drop a new video. Now, as for upcoming videos this week, I need to drop 2 shorts. One of them I'm kind of late on. I may scrap it. I'm not entirely sure. But I'm also going to drop a review on the Air Jordan 14 Ferrari. So that's for sure. And then come Monday, I'm going to do another news video. Hopefully. If there's enough news from now until then, but I'm sure there will be. But for this video, let me know what you liked or disliked down below. As well, if you have any questions, make sure to leave those down below. Again, thanks for watching. Stay tuned to SneakerFiles.com. And if you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe.